What's that one present you wanted to get as a kid, but never actually got? I really wanted a Honda robot. I found out Honda had built a robot and I asked for one for Christmas, because I assumed they were mass produced. Go big or go home, I guess. Or go big and go home. A doodle bear. So I just used my brother instead. Took ages for mum to get the Sharpie off him. Great resourcefulness. Many years later he still shakes at the doodle bear advert. Haha. An electric guitar, and one day I found one hidden in the back of my father's wardrobe. I was so excited, and then Christmas Day comes around and I got, well, I can't even remember what I got, but it wasn't an electric ducking guitar. Turns out it was a present for our neighbor's kid and my parents were hiding it away, so the kid didn't find it prior to Christmas Day. I can feel the sadness again writing this. Your parents were hiding it for the neighbor's kid's parents, oh right. Please say that's what you mean. I had to read that 4 times before I understood, but now that I do, it certainly makes a lot more sense. I really wanted something called a barcode battler. You could scan the barcode on any item, and it would give it a sort of top trump style score, which I presume you could then battle with your friends over. I was obsessed with getting one. I would never shut up about it. Whenever an amount of money was discussed, I would chip in with stuff like that's the same as 3 barcode battlers. None of my friends had one, so I don't even know what I intended to do with it. Looking back, I'd just seen an advert on Saturday morning TV and decided I must have it. My mum never got me one. I think I ended up with a Super Soaker. My friends did have those, and we had great fun with them. If I'd had my way, I'd have been sitting in the corner scanning random items with my barcode battler while they partook in giant Super Soaker wars. Cheers mum, for saving me from myself. That sounds so wholesome and I kinda want one now. Happy Cake Day. I'm an only child of super successful parents who were gone a lot. It was pretty lonely. The only thing I ever wanted in my whole life was a pet. I finally got my first pup at 15. After so much begging. I'm 42 now. I loved that dog so very much, and I still miss her. When I was really young I wanted this mermaid Barbie. My father even promised to buy it, but forgot which one it was, and he brought me a fairy doll instead. When he went to buy the mermaid doll they said they were out of stock, and I never saw it again after that. This actually breaks my heart to hear you never got that Barbie. A year and after, that 8-year-old me vowed to never play with a single Barbie toy ever again. Egan from Ghostbusters. The Ghostbusters toys were the only toys I had as a kid that weren't hand-me-downs or cheap knockoffs, so they were always special to me. I had Peter, Ray and Winston. I had the Fright Features figures. I had the Ghostbusters tower. I had the Ecto-2 helicopter. And the kid who lived next door had Ecto-1 and the Proton Pack, which I could play with all the time. But I never had Egan. Even when I specifically asked my mum to buy Egan for me, she came back with another Winston. I had 2 Winstons. Years later, we are talking late 2000s here, my sister was in some charity shop, and she found an Egan figure in a bucket of random action figures. She remembered that I never had him as a kid, and bought it for me. It was such a silly thing, but it meant so much to me, that it's sweet of her. I had the Egan Fright figure, it was awesome. I even had Janine. Unfortunately they must have been thrown away at some point. I'd love to have them again. As far as I know, all mine are still in my dad's loft. I really should dig them out someday. Street Shark action figure. A Tamagotchi. I've put it on every Christmas and birthday present lists for years. Never got any. My parents didn't even discuss it with me or asked what it was. Do you still want one? Lol. I almost bought one a few months ago. A cat. I asked for a pet cat every year and never got one. I kinda get it cause my parents had a dog when I was very little and they didn't feel like getting a pet again, but it's still sad. I love cats, but never had one. A Power Wheels Jeep. Now I jokingly tell people not getting one is a reason I'm gay. That's funny. I, too, wanted a Power Wheels. A Barbie one. We always got great Christmas presents. My dad liked to spoil us, but I never did get the Power Wheels. Once I grew up and saw how expensive they are, I understood. The ducking talk boy from Home Alone. A family friend, former, promised to buy me one, but that cunt never did. Credit card? You got it. Laughs, cries in, raised as a Jehovah's Witness. That's rough, buddy. But my girlfriend turned into the moon. The 64 Crayola crayon pack. And yes, I bought it for myself at age 34. A horse. Glad I didn't get one in the end. I love horses, but they are time and money drains. An Oscar Mayer weenie whistle. Do you blame? Santa is not real, but Tim Allen is. Heelys. I'm 27 now, and I'm still ducking bitter about it. They sell them still, and go up to adult men size 13, US size. My son begged for them for years, and we found a pair without the wheels at the flea market. Ordered the wheels online and he wore those shoes until they fell apart and were glued back together several times. Bought him a new pair, and when he outgrows these, can't buy him another pair. His feet are too big. Voltron. Always got Voltron related stuff, but never the actual robot. Man, a Voltron robot would have been a really cool gift. My brother got one, but it turns out that the thing was recalled because of too much lead in the paint. My mom saw the letter that we got in the mail because we had registered the robot. They had an offer for shirts. Instead we got told that we shouldn't play with it instead. 4th gen iPod Touch. The sheer nostalgia at this point is worth it. I wanted an iPod Touch so bad as a kid. My parents got me an iPod Shuffle and didn't know the difference. I wasn't about to complain about it though. This is an iPod Shuffle. You peed on my iPod Shuffle. Grew up on a 20-acre farm and always wanted the stereotypical girl thing. A pony. Me too. My dad told me if I did the research and showed him how we could afford it and how I would take care of it, he'd get me one. So 11-yo me read a giant horse book and got back to him with the vet, cost breakdown and everything, and he still said no. G.I. Joe aircraft carrier. The US flag. Why did I have to scroll this far down to find this answer? One of those pink court TV sets with the DVD player built in. Light bright. 20 years later I bought one for my niece. I had a random VHS tape from the Zman series, Night of the Sentinels. For whatever reason I was so fixated on those huge ass robots, and little me somehow thought skyscraper sized robots were an accessible real thing. Wrote to Santa that year asking for a transformer. Parents sorely misunderstood what the hell I was talking about, and come Christmas Day I was disappointed to find they gifted me this strange 1-foot girl robot toy that was remote controlled. The funny thing was that it scared me in the end and I couldn't play with it alone in fear it would come alive and murder me. You know this story is true because of how crazy children's thoughts can be. This was my childhood. Lol. The robot obsession combined with the gut-wrenching fear of anthropomorphous objects coming to life and killing me in my bed. Please click subscribe if you enjoyed this video.